And welcome once again to the Shadow Gallery. I am, as always, your host, James Donnelly. And if you check the clock, you'll see that it's time for new comics, bitches! I know that I'm doing these kind of later than I normally have. The reason for this being this week, obviously last night was the Oscars, and I live tweeted the Oscars. If you do follow me on Twitter, at Donnelly92274, which I believe is the same, it's, the same name as my YouTube page, you'll have actually seen that. Whether or not you enjoyed it, well, I hope you did. But if you didn't follow me, then maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe you'll subscribe. Maybe you'll look at this video and say, hey, this cat's got a good head on his shoulders. So, at least when it comes to comic books. So, and that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about comic books. And I hope you're ready. Because I was going to do this in kind of an abbreviated one because this cast is still bugging the living shit out of me. And it's made me into kind of a surly dude. And it's another little over a week and a half before I can get this fucking thing off. So, when it finally does come off, I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, comics. So, we've got Secret Avengers, number 23. Again, this is, now part of the Remender and Gabriel Hardman run on this title. Since, this book does change hands with not a great deal of frequency, but, we're 23 issues in, and we've already seen two creative teams, well, two writers, really, and, kind of separate creative teams, since Warren Ellis had a different artist on every issue that he did. But this is, it's an interesting book. There's a lot of stuff going on here. It's a nice, dense read. You feel like you're getting your money's worth. But the story here, of course, is not so much as you see here. It's we have Agent Venom. We have as Remender has been writing him, he decided, well, might as well put Venom on the team. This is the good Venom, quote unquote. The Flash Thompson, Black Ops Venom that he is. But the story is not really about him. It's not even him really. It's him kind of interacting with the group. Basically, he kind of gets invited by Cap and Jim Hammond, the original Human Torch, and then you get, and he gets kind of a, but the book, at its heart, is about two things. It's about Hawkeye's, desire to run this team without any assistance from anybody, really. And, of course, it's the story mostly of Ant-Man. Now, the newer Ant-Man that we've been introduced to in the last decade or so has proven to be, basically kind of a comic relief type of hero. But, he's never really had his place on this team, although his place is very clearly defined in this issue, where it is about the young woman and her son that were abducted by the Adaptoids, and he basically hitched a ride with them so that he could see what he could do about kind of saving the day. Just kind of living up to the expectations that the other heroes have of him. And that's where the comic really works, and where it really heats up is with, his interaction. Now, the ending of the issue is kind of upsetting, really. You can't really say too much more than that. But it's very well written. The art's really good. Gabriel Hardman does a really good job with the art. And Remender's been doing a very commendable job writing, taking the reins of this and really running with it. you know, it could ease off a little bit on the, you know, the Hawkeye and his whole kind of solo, you know, I want to do everything myself type of thing. Because either it's going to end up one of two ways. It's going to end up either as not much of a shock that he'll finally kind of come around and seeing that, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't shut everybody out because some people actually have good input, or B, it will just be, it'll be, you know, a big shock, and it'll be, you know, no, everybody keep staying out of my way, and maybe he'll continue to screw up. I don't know, because he's not even really screwing up per se. It's just that, well, I mean, this has obviously not been the greatest time for him. But I would say, you know, a very solid 4 out of 5 for Secret Avengers number 23. And here we have issue 7 of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. Again, a really terrific issue, which starts with, you know, kind of a fun little, maybe, you know, is Miles masturbating, and is he being caught by his mother? You know, of course, you know, maybe that's what she thinks, but it's really, you know, he's, you know, practicing being Spider-Man, and, you know, watching the DVDs. And then, you know, we get you know, a lot of really beautiful Chris Samney art, because he's a tremendous artist, and we've got, you know, he's you know, he fights the Ultimate Omega Red, but in the, you know, in the meantime, the Prowler confronts the Tinkerer about the, you know, kind of malfunctions between, you know, from the previous issue that landed him in prison. And of course, this kind of leads him to an interesting conclusion about his nephew, about the Prowler's nephew, who is Miles, and just where that all kind of comes together. This was just, you know, it felt a little brief, like the previous issue did, but I'm really excited to see where this is going. I absolutely adore what Bendis is doing with this series. I love Chris Samney's art. Always. He's just a terrific artist. Not one to be taken for granted, that's for sure. So a very, you know, again, a very solid 4.5 out of 5 for Ultimate Spider-Man number 7. It's a good week all around for Marvel. Every Marvel issue that I read this week was really good, and this is no exception. This is Wolverine and the X-Men number 6. Again, all the sort of crazy kookiness that's going on with with the Brood inside of Kitty Pryde, and, you know, all the you know, people shrinking down to to eliminate all of these Brood. And then we have this very strange alien that seems to be very kind of single-minded as far as to who he wants to kill. And of course, who he actually wants to kill is it's a last moment reveal that it's not Kitty Pryde, it's somebody else. But what we also have going on here is we have Wolverine and Quentin Quire in space at this space casino, which basically, since Angel has kind of, you know, lost his mind, almost literally. He doesn't remember who he is, but he, you know, it's just, you know, they're trying to basically raise enough money to pay for the school, for the upkeep for the school, you know, just for everything that the school entails. And they're cheating, because that's just what they do. Nick Bradshaw, again, just totally killing it as far as the art itself is concerned. I do miss Chris Bachalo. But at the same time, I have absolutely, you know, as I've said any number of times, since he's been doing the art duties on this, I really don't mind at all. And it's just, you know, we've got, again, all of these three things kind of overlapping, but it doesn't make confusing read. It's actually quite comprehensible and really smart and really well done. Again, this is, I would say pretty easily my favorite X title. It's the one that is, it's consistently very, very good. It's a consistently fun, entertaining read. It doesn't shorten itself out on the surprises. So I mean, it's just really, it's dynamic, it's fun, it's a really good book, and this issue, in issue 7, is certainly no exception. Again, this is a very solid 4.5 out of 5, and that's pretty much how it is. So, moving on, we've got Jennifer Blood, number 9. I understand why Garth Ennis left this comic, because he's now concentrating on doing his version of The Shadow, which comes out next month. Yay! Well, not next, but because it's the end of February, so it'll be coming out in April, and I can't wait. I ordered already through my LCS. I've already ordered all 4, I should say, variant covers, not the blank sketch covers, but the Chaykin, the Jay Lee, the Alex Ross, and of course the John Cassaday cover being my favorite. So I wanted to make sure that I was guaranteed to get that one. Jennifer Blood, of course, dealing with the fallout of Jennifer's son discovering her cache of weapons, and him playing with one of them, thinking that it's just kind of a toy, but and of course all these little things about lies and deceit, and kind of teaching her son about these lies, that sometimes it's necessary to lie in order to do the right thing, while you still have basically the these people trying to find out exactly who she is, so they can eliminate her. And then you have these new characters. This one especially, this Mr. Lazar, who is essentially he is like he's kind of the Charlie Sheen, I guess, of this comic book world, where he is, I mean, almost literally, just just all of these things that he keeps saying, call me by my spirit name, exploding hyperwolf with teeth of fire, I mean, all that kind of shit, like tiger blood and, whatever. I mean, it's all that, all the stupid shit that Charlie was saying, and so on and so forth. And they do indeed send someone to, they have found Jennifer, with, in the different ways, so on and so forth, and send someone to deal with her. But then she gets a surprising assist from the pervy next door neighbor, who is, so with Jack now wanting to actually kind of join up with her since he knows her secret, it's just, again, it's hilariously funny. It's pretty damn violent. When it is violent, it's always, it kind of goes towards the extreme. Al Ewing does, again, a really good job of taking the reins from Ennis. And the Iman Casalos, excuse me, doing the art. Very good art. Nothing to really complain about there. In fact, it's been better than some of the art that I've read in this title recently. Just all in all, this is always a really entertaining, really fun book. Again, solid, consistent, very well done. Again, solid 4 out of 5 for Jennifer Blood #9. Not reading the Ninjets, so don't ask me about that. But anyway, we'll be back and we'll talk some more comics. Okay, so stay tuned.